Hey there gang, your Guitar Sage here, and today we are going to learn a real basic lesson about the acoustic guitar. So if you are a fledgling guitar player, a brand new guitar player, this is your lesson, okay? Because we're going to learn a few basic things, and I'm saying from scratch. If you had a first guitar lesson, this is what your guitar teacher should be showing you, okay? So first let's talk about the anatomy of the guitar. And we're going to talk just a slight bit about sound, and we're going to talk a little bit about technique and that sort of thing. So for some of you, this is going to be beyond you. For those of you that it's not, stick around and we'll learn a ton today. Okay? So let's talk about the guitar first. This is an acoustic guitar, of course. An acoustic guitar is one that has a sound hole, unlike an electric guitar, to where you plug it in and it runs through an amplifier, where it's amplified through other means other than just the guitar sounding itself. This particular guitar is an acoustic electric, okay? And that means it's acoustic. I can play it like this and you can hear it. Or I can plug it in and it also has a way to amplify it as well. But it's going to sound like an acoustic guitar because that's the way it's set up. Okay, so acoustic guitars get their sound by these strings vibrating and the sound resonating into the sound hole, reverberating the body or shaking the body, if you will, and then the sound coming out the sound hole. Okay, let's talk about the parts here, and then we'll jump back to sound from there. Okay, so a guitar, if you think about it like a body, this part right here is the body of the guitar. Some people will call these even the ribs. This is called the top. Some people call it the belly, but most of the time you'll hear it called the top of the guitar. This is, of course, the back of the guitar and the sides. So when people are talking about types of guitars and woods and stuff like that, they might say it's a spruce top, and they're talking about this part right here. And when they're talking about the sides, they're talking about the outer edge, and of course the back is the part that you're not seeing right now. Okay, this right here is called the bridge, and the bridge is the place where the strings start, if you will, or you could say they start here at the tuners, but they start and end from the bridge to the tuners. Okay, so this part's called the bridge. These parts are called the tuners. Of course, they tune the guitar. They change the tension or the highness and lowness of the strings, the pitch, if you will. Okay. This is the head and the headstock, and this is the neck. Okay. On this particular guitar, there's some electronics, tuner, an equalizer, volume, place for the battery, and that sort of thing. When you have these built-in tuners, that's really helpful on an acoustic guitar because you don't have to grab a tuner, and typically these particular tuners work on vibration instead of sound. So people can be talking, you can have the TV running, and actually still play or still tune your guitar. Okay, this part of the guitar is called the nut, and these little wires are called the frets. This whole thing, a lot of times people mistake that for the fret, but it's this thing right here. Okay, there are also little dots, if you notice that, on the top of your neck, should be facing you. If you're playing as a lefty and you don't see them, you're probably playing a righty guitar upside down. But those little dots are helpful. They're there just basically to show you, so when you look down at the guitar, you can, after a while, memorize them and know where you're at immediately instead of having to count a bunch of frets. If I'm jumping from a chord up here to here, I don't want to have to count 8 frets to be able to say, okay, my chord's up here. I want to be able to just look down and see the one dot that I recognize as the one right behind the 8 or something like that. Okay, so that's what those dots are, is to tell you where you're at, kind of help you out. If you will, they're kind of like lines in a road. Although the lines in the road are a little bit more important. They're not just suggested. You might want to stay in them. But these fret dots are there to help you. Okay, so And this part here is, of course, called the fretboard because that's where the frets are. And those are made of different types of wood, rosewood, ebony, maple. Different ones create different sounds on the guitar. Okay, let's talk a little bit, let's talk basically about sound for just a minute. So some of you know about sound as the sensation that we receive in our ear, right? Let's talk about this for a second, it's real important. When something vibrates, okay? So when I hit this string, it vibrates, it causes air particles to vibrate, hit your eardrum, and of course we have the sensation of sound. Pitch is the highness and lowness of something. So if this is low, this is high, okay? So we're hearing we're hearing a difference in the two because of the way that they are vibrating. Okay. Now on the guitar, when we pick a string, it vibrates between the nut and the bridge. Okay. So if I pick a string, I can lay my hand right here behind the nut, and nothing's going to happen. That string is going to keep sounding. But if I go beyond the nut right here, it's going to get muted because we're stopping the sound. Okay. What the frets do is they shorten or lengthen the string. Okay. So there's a law of nature that says the bigger something is, the deeper that it will reverberate or vibrate at. Everything vibrates, so everything's vibrating, and something bigger is going to vibrate lower than something smaller. That's why the smaller the bird, the higher pitched its sound. The larger, a whale has a really deep low bellow, or a cow or an elephant you're gonna feel it as well as hear it, okay? So it's the same thing with pitch on the guitar. So these thicker strings are gonna sound lower than the higher pitched strings, okay? And also, if we take the string length and we shorten it with these frets, then we have a shorter body again, or shorter string length, which gives us a higher pitch. So for instance, this low string going up the fretboard, we're shortening the string length. Now it's vibrating between the bridge and that fret instead of over here. I can touch here all day long, no problem. But we are shortening the string length, which is increasing our pitch. Okay, so there you go. Those are the basics there regarding sound. Let's talk about some left and right hand techniques. Now, the techniques that I'm giving you today are the exact techniques that I sit down with students every single day and show them. So these techniques are proven and they're going to help you a ton. Okay. As far as your right hand and as far as picking, the way you pick up a pick is typically the way you're going to use it. Most people pick it up like this, or with their first and second finger. Okay. I prefer to hold it with my first finger and my thumb, and I like to hold it at the tip of my fingers, if you will, like this. Some people will hold it like this. Some people hold it like this. Some people even hold it like this. Okay. I don't prefer that because I don't feel like I have the control. So if you want to start off in a way that where you have more control over the pick, play it like this, pinched. Okay, let's try this exercise here. Basically what I want you to do is on this first string here, pick that. And so take the pick and you lay it on the string and press down towards the floor. Okay. Then the second string, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Now, you'll notice that I'm counting the strings from the one that's closest to the ground, or the highest pitched string, as a 1, and the lowest pitched string is a 6. That's the way us guitar players identify the strings, as well as string names, which we'll learn in a minute. Okay, so that's your right hand technique. Left hand technique is fairly simple. There's 2 or 3 principles that are really important that you stick to. The one is, make sure you use all your fingers, okay? every single finger you want to use. So if you're playing 4 frets, use 4 fingers. Also play directly on your fingertips. With my students, I'll take a Sharpie pen and literally draw 4 little dots on the tips of their fingers so that they remember when they're looking at their hands not to play like this, to play like that. Okay? Now for newbies, that may not look like much of a difference, this and this, but when you're playing chords, it's a big difference. So believe me now, and you'll understand it more later. So fingertips when you're playing, also play right behind the fret. So for instance, take your first finger, put it behind fret 1, this is fret 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Fret 1, and play right behind the fret. What I mean by right behind it is, this is the fret, play right here, not back here, where you get that buzzy sound or sometimes like a thumping sound. You don't want that. So scooch up on the fret and play right there. Okay? Take the second finger and play on the second fret. Don't slide your first finger up, use the second finger. And again, right behind the fret. If you're back here, you're going to get that pinched, kind of weird sound. So scooch it up on the fret. Third finger, third fret. Fourth finger, fourth fret. Okay? And at first, just do that. You won't be able to play it that fast at first. You may, depending on how much experience you've had. But that's the exercise that you want to do. And you want to do that for all the strings. If you do that for all the strings, you're going to be really on your way to feeling a little bit better about these strings, or a lot better actually. And then as you get faster and more precise, you'll be able to play more things. Okay, so you got the basic idea there. Okay, that's as far as right hand and as far as left hand techniques. Let's talk really quickly about the string names. The string names go like this, from the low E to the high E. So from the low E, we got E, A, D, G, B, and last one is E. So again, E, A, D, G, B, E. How do you memorize that? How about this? Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Okay? Write that one down because it will help you remember it. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. I always remember Ed, and Eddie, those cartoon kids, and some kid eating a piece of dynamite and blowing up and heading to heaven. And that helps me remember it. Okay? I know, graphic, but it's useful. Okay, so there you go. There's some basic ideas, basic technique. For those of you that are new to guitar, and if you haven't gone there already, go to yourguitarsage.com. I've got a great informative e-booklet there that will help you a ton with learning guitar, specifically on the acoustic guitar. Teach you all about rhythms, teach you about right hand technique, teach you all your basic chords, teach you how to use a capo. This guy right here, super handy for newbies especially. Actually for everybody, for experts as well. Teach you how to use a capo. I have somewhere around 200 videos right here on YouTube right now teaching all sorts of songs, and will also help you with all those tunes. So if you like what you see here, go to yourguitarsage.com and check that out. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe because I'm putting new videos out all the time. So there you go. Hope you've learned something today, and keep checking in for new lessons. Your Guitar Sage, over and out.